Syracuse, southwest, about 30 minutes from Syracuse, New York. And we're right on Otisco Lake, is that the way you say it, Jeanette?
That's right.
And on my right here I have Mrs. Jeanette Graf. And over here on the left, her husband and wife, I didn't say which way here, and Franz Graf. Friends of mine from way back in the 50s, right, Franz?
That's right.
And we're going to interview today for a little history of cheesemaking and dairy industry for the historic Cheesemaking Center in Monroe, Wisconsin. And you used to live in the area, and maybe we can just kind of go back and reminisce a few of those years, huh, Franz?
Yeah.
I'm going to start with you here. Where were you born?
I was born in Regenthals in Switzerland,
Now, what canton is that?
Canton Lucerne.
Oh, that's the canton where my family is
Yeah.
from, Lucerne.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm not familiar with that town, but so the Mission of Lucerne, well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you grew up there, and your father was a
Farmer.
farmer, so
Yeah.
you know the farming end of the dairy industry.
Mm-hmm.
Did you milk any cows, Franz?
Oh yeah, by hand.
How many cows did you milk?
Oh, maybe 15.
15, and to haul the milk to a neighboring cheese factory?
Yeah.
In the cans, or
In cans, yeah.
was it like farther up in the mountains, or was it down the levels?
Well, it's in the flatlands, but we have steep hills.
I see. So that would be the lower part of it.
That cause people to get bunions on their feet.
I see. All right. Okay, Franz. Now, when you came over here, you were a cheesemaker. Where did you gain your cheesemaking experience? Over there? or-
My uncle was a cheesemaker, Otto's father.
And who are we talking about? Otto.
Otto Graf, my cousin.
Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, my Uncle Leo, he was making cheese in Oberkirch, and his descendants are still on that cheese factory.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Been in the family for many years.
yeah,
And Otto is your cousin, and of course, that's when you came to Warren there. I know this was the first time I met Otto. You two were kind of more or less together most of the
Yeah.
time, and kind of must have had a camaraderie with one another, right?
yeah.
All right, Franz, through the war in Switzerland, what was your job then?
Well, I was working in a cheese factory if I didn't have to go into military service, you know.
So it was an important part of the government saying that you have to produce the cheese to support the people, and
Yeah.
some of the rest of them were at the border guards, but Switzerland was always neutral, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any war experiences? Did you ever hear any planes going anywhere around Lucerne?
Oh, we heard some planes crossing over, you know. When I was out in the eastern part, I heard when they bombed Friedrichshafen, you know, where I believe Henkel bombers they made there
Okay.
on the Bodensee.
Mhm.
Yeah. But never had any experience with it.
Okay, then when the war ended, then you decided that you wanted to emigrate
Yeah,
to America, right?
yeah.
And you didn't have really any relatives here then, or anybody, right?
No.
So how did you come? Can tell us a little bit something on how you came to this country.
Well, we first went down to South
Now
America.
we're talking about Otto now again, right? Your cousin
Yeah,
Otto.
yeah.
So you and him more or less had decided that.
Yeah, we went down to South America, and then we were down there for 3 years, and then we decided to go up here.
All right.
In
The
the
reason you
States.
went to South America is because you couldn't get a visa here. Is that right, or was it a little harder?
I don't know, we didn't even try. We
okay.
just had an address down there, and we went down there.
Well, tell me a little bit about that South America. I don't think you ever really told me much about it.
Well, it is an agricultural country mostly, and it is, maybe you can say, tagging about 30, 40 years behind us, the States.
Well, what was your job there? Making cheese or working in a cheese factory? What type of cheese did you make, John?
We made Swiss. And
Oh,
we
the old
made
Emmentaler, huh?
Yeah, yeah. But we made, you know, we made it in kettles, and we made them smaller, about 50, 60 pounds, and we took 3 out of one kettle.
Is
you
that
know,
right?
we cut it up, pulled one out, then the second one, and then we stirred it up and get it all together, and that was the third
Oh
one.
my goodness, I've never heard of that before.
Never heard of
Was it
that.
kind of hard to get each weight about the same, or did you kind of get the knack
Well,
to it?
you caught on after a while. You get them
And-
about even, you
And
know.
I gotta ask you this, was the last cheese that you took out just as good as the first one, or was the first
Well,
one?
that didn't make any difference.
Didn't make much
no,
difference, it wasn't
no.
like sometimes when you have done Strebel and
Yeah, yeah.
the end
Yeah.
results. Well, that's something interesting. All right, so now you and Otto are there in South America. What town or what country in South America?
In Argentina,
Argentina.
yeah.
And how many cheese did you make down there?
Oh, we made about 5 or 6 really Swiss cheese, you know.
Pretty good.
5 or 6 kettles.
Pretty good milk?
Not too good, you know.
How were the summers of the weather down there?
The weather was hot, you know, and the summer mostly was dry, but it was around Buenos Aires. There was the precipitation was spread out over the summer, you know, but the most rain fell in spring, you know. That was October, November down there.
All right, well then moving right along here, Franz, then after 3 years down there, how did you come to America then?
Well, we applied for a visa at the American Embassy in Buenos Aires, and they gave us the visa, so we came up here.
And where did you land in America?
We landed in New York, and we had
On
a
a
job
ship
in
or on an airplane?
yeah, an airplane. Took 2 days at that time. An airplane 2 days from Buenos Aires to New York.
Well, you mean you had to make stops, or?
Yeah, they made stops. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 stops altogether.
And you was in this same airplane all this for this 2.5
Yeah,
days?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess it beats the coming over in the ship back when my
Yeah,
father came over.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
for 14 days.
Yeah, when we went down to Argentina, we were 29 days on the ship.
Is that right? Well, you've really been around, hasn't he? Huh?
Certainly has.
Jeanette. All right, Franz, now that's you and Otto still traveling together as two comrades, kind of planning their life together. What did you do when you first came to America? Or where did you go?
We had a job up at Darlington Swiss cheese factory, Gossamer.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's the one that went out to Utah, right?
his brother did.
Oh, that was the brother.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that was a pretty big factory.
Yeah, but that closed down too, a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
most all those factories are closed.
Yeah.
By the way, it's going again now. They opened it up again and they're making some Mexican cheese.
In
Just something good-
Darlington?
In Darlington. I have to get that in while we're here
Yeah,
in New York State. So we can't just interview the past, we gotta get a little present in here
Yeah.
too, all right? Okay, so now you're in Darlington and I'm down there at Warren and leased the factory to Dubox, and I was supposed to go to service, and that got extended, and then leased the factory to Dubox, and then started farming for a few years. And where did you come from, Darlington down there, or were you working someplace
no,
else?
I worked at east of Monroe in Judah,
What factory was that then?
King factory.
And who was making cheese there?
Boren, Pete Boren.
Pete Boren?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
worked for him for 2 years. And then I
And
worked
what was the name of the
another
factory? Can you remember the name?
King
The
Factory.
King Factory.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what?
Then I worked another year at South Wayne, the
Midnight Factory.
McKnight Factory.
Okay,
Yeah.
and who was making cheese there then?
Uh,
We're trying to
Bob?
get over as many names
yeah,
as we can.
yeah.
Bob Nosker.
Bob Nosker, yeah.
Okay.
Bob Nosker.
Bob Nosker at the Midnight Factory. Well, you're getting awful close there to Warren.
Yeah.
And then you and Otto came to Warren, right?
Yeah.
And about what year was that?
I was in 53.
And this is the factory where my father and I had been since
Yeah.
42, and there was a space where we had leased it between 51 and or 52 until when? 60, huh? You said you were there?
Yeah, till 60, yeah.
You were there 7 years. Well, what kind of cheese did you make there
One,
when you first started?
we made Swiss for about a week, and then the Swiss market collapsed, and we started making American cheese, cheddar.
That isn't what you told me the first time I asked you. You said the Swiss market went all to...
Oh, went to hell. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened a lot of times in this dairy industry,
Yeah.
and we want to record that because
Yeah.
it was so unstable at many times. And,
Yeah.
and of course, American cheese was something that you could store, where
Yeah.
the Emmentaler wasn't really the cheese to put away for 6 to 8 weeks
Yeah.
or
Well,
6 to
the
8 months.
prices shut up, and everybody started making Swiss cheese, and then pretty soon it was an oversupply.
So you made cheddar. Where did you ship your cheddar to?
To Monroe, to Borden's,
Borden.
or Lakeshire Marty, or what they call it.
Well, then later on you got into Italian.
Yeah, that's about in 56, I think. Yeah, the Goldenrod asked me whether I would make Parmesan for them, so I made. But every time they were just in winter, and in spring they dropped me again, you know.
And Parmesan, usually they had to age that about, what, 14 months, I think?
Yeah, but I shipped it out with about, as soon as I had a load together again,
How long would you brine that, Franz?
brined that, I think 8 days or 10. Yeah.
And Otto was there with you, and then...
Well, he went up to Platteville
Okay, he left in about, what
He
year
left
did he leave
in
then?
56, in spring 56.
And
Yeah,
he got married, right?
yeah. He got married in 55.
I gotta go cough.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
let's just stop here until Jeanette gets back, okay?
Yeah.
Push the red button. Right.
Oh, now you guys are hands.
Okay, now it's on. Go ahead.
And here we are again, May the 20th, southwest of Syracuse, New York, about 30 minutes, right?
Yes.
30 minutes. And Disco Lake in New York State. Franz Graf over here and Jeanette. And to continue this little conversation, Franz, you said that Otto got married then, right? And he left, and then left you single, right?
Yeah.
But now you have a wife. Can you tell me how that, maybe I better ask Jeanette here. What part of Switzerland were you born?
Kan ik Duits kunnen?
Yeah. You can just tell me.
Even voor de boord in Marco.
All right. And what year did you come over? About, you know.
In 58. I came here for a visit. At that time I met Franz.
And where did you meet Franz here?
And I met Franz at the Monroe Turner Hall. What day, Franz? It was after your birthday, 18th of August, 1958.
I better know that.
All right.
Mhm.
And of course, it connected right away, huh?
Oh, yes, definitely. He thought so.
And you needed a housekeeper, right? And you was batching.
Yeah,
And,
that was a good chance.
Well, you sure have made a nice family, and we are here in New York State, and you've been married how long now?
Well, since
Well,
59.
59, so you
37
figure out
years.
36 years, 37.
All right, and then, so now, then you moved to Warren, and that's when I first met you at the wedding there, and we were just looking at some wedding pictures
That's
there.
right,
and
yeah,
Bringing
that's
back
right.
a lot of memories.
Day before the wedding. Mhm.
And I think I even helped drive a few milk trucks for you, right?
That's right, yeah.
And so then you decided that you wanted to kind of get on your own, and you found a factory. We're up at Cuba City.
You see,
And what was the name of this factory?
Long Grove factory.
And then you moved with him, and can you tell me a few things about the Long Grove up there?
Yes, it was out in the sticks. And I couldn't drive at the time, so I was dependent on Franz to take me shopping, whatever we needed. He had to come along, or I had to go with him whenever he went to Monroe for cheese, to hold cheese. I would go along and did my grocery shopping there. And
Could you speak any English much when you came over?
no, none.
Yeah, that must have been quite an obstacle, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
But there were a lot of Swiss immigrants here that you kind of knew, and
Yes, and we made friends very quickly. I mean, Franz had a lot of friends. Franz had a lot of friends who became my friends. They still are today.
we were just looking at those pictures there. And enjoyed the. Now you used to belong to this Swiss Singers, right?
Yeah, the men's choir.
Now that's combined, isn't it? I guess I believe combined. with
I
the
think
women.
so, yeah, yeah.
But they didn't have any women singing.
No, I don't believe so.
No,
But then the family started coming along, right? And how many children do you have today?
We have 4 now. 2 boys and 2 girls,
All grown up,
all grown up, doing very well.
all college graduates,
That's right.
and I understand one is even back in Switzerland working.
Well, we had 2 over there for a while, and now one is back. And he brought a Swiss wife along, and he lives now in Boston. And the younger one is still in Switzerland and plans to be there for a while.
Well, isn't that something? You know, the countries are still kind of knit together yet. It's one of the few countries, I think, England, Canada, and I don't know, Switzerland. I think all you can have dual citizenship, right?
yeah,
He
really.
has
Yeah,
dual citizenship. Mhm.
Whereas that isn't with every country, I don't think.
No, no.
It's just
No.
an agreement. Oh my goodness, and your parents over there, or your family, any of your family that came over, or
My family,
sister?
well, I'm an only child, so, but my mother's family still has a sister living who just turned 100 this year. It was quite an affair. And she's the only one still living. And I have lots of cousins, but Franz's family is, you ask him about his family.
Yeah, tell me.
That's doing very well.
But you're the only one here from your family, right?
That's right, yeah.
Well, tell me a few things. Well, let's go back to the cheese factory. Now, you're up in Cuba City, and tell me some of the adversities that you had, the tough times up there, because why did you discontinue making cheese? Did you have any trouble with affluent, or?
Well, it was, there was no land to it, and the farmers didn't want to take it away anymore. So I had a problem there, and I couldn't, the neighbor didn't want to sell any land, and I just the state closed it because of the problem.
Well, that was coming in all the cheese factories of where we used to always drain the sewer down to the affluent right down in the field.
Yeah.
And of course, the farmer didn't like it either, and as time came along, there wasn't any salting until they came later on with a ridge furrow that they have today.
What do they have today?
They make a furrow and they make ridges and pump the affluent out, not the whey, but now we have places in whey or ultrafiltration.
This is how you do it in Walnut?
Yeah, no, we're on with the city, see,
You, everything.
but we have a holding pond before. But things were happening all through the places. It was the things of the factory getting smaller and the ones getting bigger and
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
so it closed up, and then you went to New York State, right?
Yeah,
And you worked for what company?
for a hood company.
And then that was your last experience then with making
With
cheese,
cheese,
and
yeah.
then you went and you bought what? What other
I
business?
bought a car wash. And I ran that for 10 or 11 years. And then finally could get rid of it. And now I'm keeping myself busy working on an apple farm.
Yeah, and we got some of this apple cider here right today, and isn't ever good. And I was thinking on the way over, I wonder if Franz is going to bring some of that cider over with him. It's so heavy, it's so pure, it seems like, you know.
It's sweet and wonderful.
I took last May when I went to California. I took a gallon out there.
Did you?
And the plane.
And so, would you say cheese making was pretty good to you? All
was
in all?
both way. You had your ups and downs.
And it was an experience, and did you have to help at all down at the factory?
No, I didn't.
You didn't have much time when they had them poor children come around, bing, bang,
Yeah,
bang.
yes, yeah, I kept busy. I did the payroll.
And you bought the milk there at Cuba City is what you
Yeah,
got it and
yeah.
took care of the payroll. And anything else you can think of that might have happened there at Cuba City or Warner Hood?
I'm glad you're out of it.
You're glad you're out of it, yeah. The dairy industry, as you said, had its time and
Yeah.
it's good and bad and well, I want to thank both of you. We're here at on this road here. What highway is this?
When I
That's
said I'm glad you're out of it,
Amber
I did like the people there. I did like the people.
But there comes a time like the little
Yes.
hardware store, the little grocery store, it's fade. It's just not there anymore. And what highway do we have out here?
That's
This is-
Amber Preble Road. It's a county highway.
Right here, right along.
It isn't a numbered highway. It's just Amber Preble Road.
Well, we have a lot of traffic, so that's what you hear
Yeah,
in the background,
yeah.
and you probably just got a 3-minute walk, and you have a little dock down here right on the lake, and
Mhm.
beautiful flowers out here, and I think what a beautiful home, what a beautiful place. It reminds me a little of Joe Davis County. So, I want to thank you again for a little conversation.
You're welcome.
Jeanette
Tom.
and Franz, my two dearest friends, I couldn't wait to come here. And thank you very, and just say hello to the camera there.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, and thank you very much.